Thank you for this beautiful moment, musical moment. And it is time for me to bring in my dear Lolita and Stephanie Lawrence. Um, Thank you so much. First of all, Lolita, I would like to talk a little bit about this beautiful painting that we just saw, um, and a little bit about, if you don't mind, about what inspires you to paint such vivid images of Earth.
Yes, Stephen, I've always felt that we are part of nature, and whatever happens in nature, we feel it. It touches our heart, it touches our minds. We see the different changes in nature, and we see the same changes that happen to us as human beings. Like in the fall, we feel, it's just the letting go of life that is past, and the colors that have happened in our lives will have to go, and they have had their time, and now we're beginning for a new season. Earthiness. You feel that you're part of what's happening on Earth.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for this. Stephanie, same question I would like to ask you. What, how do you experience your connection to Earth?
I actually just started doing something fun recently, which was going barefoot in the grass while I'm walking my dog, which seems so simple, but it brings me to this feeling of earthiness, getting connected with nature again. And in fact, the role of Suzelle, it was so beautiful when you read the book that goes with it. The nature, everything was about nature. It was such a beautiful way to get reconnected to Earth.
Yes, absolutely. I must say that this scene has exactly this sense of Suzelle uh, taking her force from nature, from flowers, from the earth, because that's where she grew up. She grew up in the mountains. And I must say that the first moment, that was, by the way, Lolita, the painting that triggered me to to get in contact with you, because I was going through painters. I knew what I wanted in my mind. And then I saw this painting and I jumped off my seat and I said, there it is. That's the earth. That's how I would imagine this Jewish community living at the beginning of the last century in the mountains of Switzerland, connected to the earth, between bright and beautiful, lovely colors. So I will now thank you so much for this. Stay where you are because we have more to talk. I will now be moving to the second video that we have called Traditions. I want to say that the painting that you will see is called The Harvest. It's an oil on canvas, and it's from a private collection, courtesy of Miss Chiara Bullo in Florence, Italy. Let's see the video and then we talk.
La vita deve chiamarvi piante d'arciar.
So, what is traditions? In this scene, baritone Hyun-Sung Kim, that couldn't be with us tonight because he has a performance of another opera, is giving a sermon. Is a sermon a tradition? I think so, in certain communities. Going to church and following the sermon of a local pastor or any other religious leader is a tradition. Is the harvest, the name of the painting, a tradition? Certainly it is, in many, many cultures, ancient and modern. And about traditions, I would like to talk one more time with Lolita and with Bob Antonucci. And Bob, I would like to ask you, can you, if you want to share with us, of course, a couple of your traditions, what you consider a tradition?
Well, I enjoy the pastimes sometimes of my family years ago, making wine, making beautiful salumi, enjoying friends around, and just the tradition of the family, and just being together with the people that you love around a beautiful full table, and enjoying such beautiful music like we're hearing tonight. This is just a wonderful tradition and traditions that I enjoy. It's really a pleasure when we can do that.
You guys are making me very happy, and I'm going to ask the same question to you, dear Lolita. Right now, you are in Italy, and I'm so jealous. But
You don't have to be. You can come here anytime.
I will. I'm coming.
Yes, yeah. Well, anyhow, traditions are very important. And in that painting that you just showed, that actually what inspired me, that was the tradition of putting the farmers together, harvesting together. Because in that, it's not just harvesting the rice, it's being together and sharing your friendship and your love, and then you eat together and you're in the middle of the field, working together and assimilating the beauty that's around you and the richness of the earth as well. Because in the harvest, you collect together as a people whatever you get as gift from the earth.
Absolutely. And I want to say to everybody right now, I want to take exactly point from what you said and say that opera and painting and any other art form is also about traditions. It's also about keeping such traditions or enhance them or reinvent them or make them new or make them or use them as a reminder of what used to be and what brought us to today, to 2021. And with that, I think that it is time. Thank you so much. Stay there because I'm bringing you back. I will be moving to the third video, which is one of my favorite moments in the opera. Everybody knows it as the Cherry Duet, a very tender moment between two people that they are trying to be in love. They are discovering love for first time. We have called it transitions. The painting connected to that is the joy of spring, because I feel and I have always believed that in the spring many transitions in our lives happened. This is an oil on canvas from Lolita's private collection. Enjoy. After that, we will be talking with soprano Stephanie Lawrence and tenor Pedro Seguera, who is singing the title role of Fritz.
Suzze bondi, d'un gaio rossignolo, la voce mi svegliò. Mi piace come canti.
Oh, signor Fritz, canto così, come mi viene il cuore.
Quei fiori son per me,
Per voi li ho colti, ed altri fiori ho pronto la sorpresa.
una primizia certo.
Le ciliegie,
Ciliegie, e son di giamatore.
nella barbara vivo il colore, son dolci
Di primavera somiglia un fiore fragrante roseo.
son pronta a cogliermi un mazzolino che voglio gettare.
Gettale subito, bella augellina, ne saprò prendere. Fresche scintillano di brina ancora, son tutte roide. E da quell'albero che sull'aurora ispiglia il passero.
Da
Ciò che gli dice non sai
And it is time to bring in the. Let me 1 second only to take out the this. Okay, so we can see you from the corner. First of all, congratulations. I do know how difficult this duet is, and even more congratulations, because I know that you had practically went on stage to sing this, for first time in front of cameras and orchestra and this, and you did a great work. So, given that we have never talked with you, Pedro, I would like to start with you and ask you, within this opera, how do you feel the role of Fritz transitions? What is the transition that happens within you?
Well, first of all, thank you, Stefanos, for having me here. It's a great to do this role, and yes, it was. This whole entire opera, I think, is about the transition of Fritz within himself. The first act, he is very confident in himself, very happy with the life as he is. And then the second act, the duet happens. He starts feeling for Suzelle, and then he starts having all these feelings that he doesn't know what they are. And then towards the third act, then it's more acceptance of now finally, okay, this is love, and I surrender to love. And well, I'm not gonna talk about later, but this entire opera is about this entire transition of this character from being someone very comfortable with himself to be very uncomfortable with himself, and then eventually being happy in a different stage.
Absolutely, totally agree. And yes, I mean, this opera is about a lot of transitions, and also this painting that I think it reflects a lot of transitions, because, like I said, and please, Lolita, correct me if I'm wrong. Please jump in this conversation. Spring is usually when a lot of things transition. So can you tell us a little bit more about this beautiful painting?
Of course, I think the four seasons, right, they represent the different transitions we experience in life. And of course, the transition into the spring, it's it's giving you a new life. Perhaps you had passed a winter that was very cold and harsh and hard. So when the spring comes, you have this new love for new life, and I think you can also translate what's has happened to us. For example, during the pandemic, now we're transitioning. I hope that the worst part of that dark period of the pandemic is over, and so now, because of this music that Pedro and Stephanie are making, we are now giving new spirit to the world, a new life, a new spring, and I'm very happy that we can do that together.
Absolutely, yes, that's actually transition. And I want to add to that, even though I'm not the best person to talk about painting, there are certainly many people who can talk about your paintings much better than me, but also the way you use the color palette, those reds, those strokes, for me, scream transition, exactly as you said, from something that maybe it was cold and difficult to something that is more light and happy. And Stephanie, I would like to ask the same thing for you and for everybody who listens. I think it's important to know that also Suzelle within the opera goes throughout a transition. What is this transition for you?
It was a real pleasure to get to dig into Suzelle, because at my age, it brought me back to a really special time in any girl's and boy's life. And to get to play with my own memories again and relive some of those things was really a wonderful experience, actually. And the word transition is really perfect for this scene.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to say almost something that just right now occurred to me. How it's beautiful, how any art form is beautiful and significant, especially to me. Right now on the screen, we have a Greek Italian, which is me. We have a German, who is Stephanie. We have a Filipino American, which is Lolita. And we have a Venezuelan, that is Pedro Seguera. And all together, we have made art. Um, we have made something happen. And with this note, I'm going to pass to thank you so much. Again, stay with me because we have more to talk. We have two more videos to go. And I will pass to the fourth video, which has a word that has a lot of meaning for a lot of people and a lot of different meanings. The word is spirituality. I certainly know what spirituality means to me, what spirituality represents to me. And I'm sure this word represents a lot of things to all of you. This painting that connected to this scene is called Mercatale. It's an oil on canvas from private collection, a courtesy of Mr. and Mrs. Larry Morse in Connecticut, USA, which we thank them very much for. Actually, I have to thank everybody who has allowed us to use those paintings. Enjoy. So I would like to say a couple of words before I bring in Bob Antonucci and Lolita Valderrama Savage to talk a little bit about spirituality. In this scene, the rabbi of the community is interrogating Suzelle, who wants to know if she is ready to become a wife, if she knows scriptures, if she has prepared herself to be a successful wife. This is for him and for her spirituality. I must also say that I have chosen Mercatale for this scene for my own egoistical reasons, because I have spiritual moments when I am in nature. When I walk, when I go to Florence, when I go to Italy, or when I go upstate New York, and I'm in the middle of nature, of trees and of green, I have my best spiritual moments. So I wanted just to put a little hint of myself for my own, like I said, egoistical reasons in this scene. And at this point, I would like to ask Lolita to tell us a little bit about the spirituality of creating something like Mercatale or any other of your paintings.
Well, just like you said, Stephanos, your experience of just walking in nature, you forget about your body. Something else is born out of yourself. It's something more from your mind and your heart, from your soul. So I very much believe, I'm Catholic, but apart from that, even if you're not Catholic, you feel that there's something that's beyond what's in your body, and that's what you find in art, in painting, and in music. Something transcends the physical, and that experience of joy and happiness that you get when you experience nature, when you listen to beautiful music, and when you look at art and the beauty of nature.
Right. I feel like being a painter, like being of any artist, it is a spiritual exercise. It's like when you are in front of your canvas, I can imagine you exercising a spiritual exercise, should I call it, because you are connecting not only to the earth, not only to what the nature or whatever is your subject, but you're also connecting to yourself and to your inner force and inner power, which is also a very spiritual moment in everyone's life, I believe.
Definitely. And also, if you, I'm not particularly very religious, but I do believe there's a creator. That's somebody
Right.
that made all this beauty for us to enjoy. And I think if you would look in history, back in history, you will also find all these great artists were inspired by their spirituality, by their connection with something that's higher. So it could be God or it could be something else, but something higher than themselves. And yeah, that's how I feel. There's something more than myself.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. And I would like to bring also in Bob and ask you exactly the same thing. I'm sure you have, I know you are an architect, so you are a very creative person, because architects, guess what? For me, at least in my book, they're artists. And I must say publicly that I love architecture. I'm obsessed. I have a bunch of books, and I wanted to be an architect, but then I finished up being an opera singer. But this is another story. I will tell you another day when we are having lunch together. What is spiritual? When do you experience spirituality within your life?
Well, to me, in my work, I do a lot of engineering work. And it's a creative experience, and when you in some way touch nature, when you touch just intangible things, you get hit with a certain overwhelming feeling that there's more to it, or you just appreciate all the beauty. It all comes together at one time, whether it's building something, creating something. I go in the garden and you see life there, you see beauty. There's some common denominator, and some call it God, some call it goodness, some call it the essence, whatever. But the point is just even to amplify what Lolita had said. There's a certain just essence of things that make things good, and it's this beauty that we see around this nature and on our work, creative works, all the same, all different aspects of an essential goodness, and these paintings are absolutely stunning, and they really bring us.
I am obsessed.
I really am enjoying this so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Bob. And I must say one more time, you guys are making me very happy. And with that statement, I'm going to move to the last video. And I want to say to everybody that we talked about earthiness, we talked about traditions, we talked about transitions, we just talked about spirituality, but we haven't touched a very important part of our lives, which is love. And the last video has exactly to do with the power of love. So before I move on to the last part of this conversation, I would like to publicly admit that this is my favorite moment of the opera and my favorite moment of the interpretation of Stephanie Lawrence. I think she's brilliant in this area, brilliant. And I have added this video, because I have it in many forms, I have added it in my list of favorite things to listen when I go to the gym. So I think, Stephanie, you're standing here, and I think that at this point I would like to bring everybody within the conversation and invite you to talk about love. And I would like to start with you, Stephanie, given that I said all of these things about you. I must say that I have experienced love in many, 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 many ways. It took me a while. When I was young, I was very confused because of life situations and things that is not the place or time to talk about. But love for me has many forms. Um, what is love for you?
I think it's a very deep question, first off. Secondly, I think love is kind of the start and end, and then the new beginning again of everything in life. Love can be the most traumatic thing that we experience, but it can also then pull us out of the depths and rejuvenate us. And I think that's exactly what happens in this opera, as we know at the ending. In this scene particularly, she is distraught at the bottom of, it's just the worst thing that could ever happen, that she believes that Fritz is not in love with her, is not the one for her. And right after this, they actually get married. So things turn around very quickly. And in life, that's the same. It can really happen that way. And I think that is the power of love.
Thank you so much. I have to say also that this painting that was connected to this scene is called Elements. It's an oil on canvas, and I personally chose it exactly because it had that very, very dynamic movement, as dynamic as love can be. Because love for me can uplift us, and like you said, can also bring us down. So all these dynamic strokes, I should say, made me think that of love without going to the obvious. And Lolita, at this point, I would like to talk to you exactly about this painting, about elements and what elements means to you.
The elements of love. Oh my goodness. I find it difficult to find love, but I fall in love all the time. As an artist, it's a problem because my husband is not jealous at all, but I do fall in love all the time with all kinds of people, with young people, old people. But love is there. It has always been there. I think I was born with love. And just like you said, you suffer because of love, because love is giving. And as a human being, you were born to love and to give. And the more you give, the more you love, and the more you get love. So love has always been positive for me. I think all the other elements in life are all put together in that one thing, which is love. I think.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lolita. And I mean, I must say that for everybody who doesn't know Lolita, Lolita is a testament of love. I have never had the pleasure to meet her in person, but we had a lot of conversations and a lot of back and forth. And I can tell you that she's quite special, and certainly she's quite special to me. Bob, you're going to be my next victim, and and I would like to ask you exactly the same thing. What are your thoughts in love? What is love for you?
It ties in even with the last scene, the spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
The love is the essence of all beauty. It's just the coming together of all good things. It's a certain feeling. It's a certain. People say, well, I'm touched, I'm transformed. It's a transformation. It's the essence of every goodness in the universe. And it comes together in all these beautiful singing, the arts, painting. All the arts are a manifestation, to me, of love. It really is, because it takes a person full of love to create. Because it's similar to what we could say God does, or it's a creative force, and it's the essence of all goodness. It's love.
Absolutely. And Pedro, you are the last one, and I wanted to keep you for last one because during the process of rehearsing, and because I know your story as a singer and as also everything else that you do, it hit me that you said at some point when I asked you, what are you trying to get out of being in a young arts program in a company? You told me that your what moves you is your love for the art form. So, and I would like you also to have the opportunity to express your love for anything that you want.
Oh, yes, indeed. I think a love for art in general, but specifically for opera as an art form, it's always it's a moving force. And as you mentioned, I have I have a different career and in parallel and analytics and tech and all of that. But what moves me in my day is that love for opera. And I just want to say also, Stephanie, you were amazing in this area. Well, in the opera, but
brilliant.
It was amazing.
Just I was stunned when I heard that. I was like, whoa. So yes, I agree with you. And before I, because we are running out of time, before I say good night to everybody, first of all, I want to thank you for spending an hour with me. Thank you so much. We will have more of these hours in December. We shall talk about that later. But what I hope is that one person at a time, one young kid, one student at a time, we can transform them and we can show them that within the arts there is so much that they can relate to their own lives, and that painting and that art and that opera are not dead, are well alive, and they can bring more joy into their lives, our lives. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I love you all.
Thank you so much.
True.
Thank you, Giovanna, for having us. I'm not so sure if you're still connected, if you can hear us. Thank you. Harrison Library. Hello, Giovanna. Let me bring you in. Thank you so much for everything
welcome.
you have done to put together this beautiful event. And I want to wish everybody good night. Thank you for being with us. And stay tuned for the next one. Thank